You're watching Pulse for the 28th of September, and it's time for some Diablo news. In this week's episode, we hear some distressing news about Diablo 3's release date, we look at the latest beta patch, the new items section on the official site, and more. Let's get started. So in the first of our Diablo news for this week, and I know this is a little bit old and you've all probably heard it already, it seems like soon was too soon. Diablo 3 is set to arrive early 2012. Yes, now although Blizzard said that they were aiming to launch the game by late 2011, it just can't happen. They say that ultimately when they do release Diablo 3, they want it to be a sequel that lives up to everyone's expectations. And knowing all the Blizzard fans out there, I think those expectations are set pretty high right now. Now I have to mention that there is an upside to all of this. They did announce along with this that the beta test will be running longer than they initially planned, which means they can invite more of the people that opted in, which in my opinion is pretty great. And we must also keep in mind that this could mean that we'll see more content in the beta as well. Perhaps we'll get to test those PvP arenas, maybe they'll add that little bit of the second act that we've seen. It's all quite possible and we can't say just yet. Either way, I'm not too shocked about them pushing the release date back. I think we'll probably get a release date announcement at BlizzCon this year, which in my opinion is good enough. And I also think that it's good if they can just test it as long as possible and get everything ironed out before the game actually ships. But you guys can let me know what you think. Are you saddened by this? Did you expect it? Is it a big deal to you? Are you still going to be picking the game up even though it's only launching in 2012 now? As I said before, I really don't mind and I'd prefer them to have everything absolutely perfect when it does release. Along with this post, they also just mentioned and reminded us all that the Diableards challenge is still running. You can still send those pictures of your epic beards in. They also shared yet another Diableards gallery on the Diablo Facebook page. Well worth checking out. So if you have some epic facial hair to share or a mock beard that you made up that you think looks pretty cool, send it in to them and let the world see it. Now let's have a look at Diablo 3 Beta Patch 4. Yes, this was actually applied on the 26th of September, but as you can see on your screens right now, this was a pretty simple patch. They merely fixed a number of game and service crashes, and I think this was long overdue. A lot of people were having trouble creating and deleting characters, even just logging in was a hassle for some people. So it may not look like much, but I'm sure it made a lot of people incredibly happy. You can see the lone patch note below if you're interested. I feel I also have to mention, and I thought I'd just throw it in here, that public beta invites have started going out. So people that opted in will start getting those invites now. And as another reminder, it's probably best not to click on any links from any emails in your inbox. The best way to check if you were invited, as Blizzard will always tell you, is just to head on over to the Battle.net account management page to have a look there. Another good thing about this is, seeing as the public is now being invited, we might well soon start seeing beta key giveaways. So keep checking back at those big Diablo sites and cross those fingers. You never know, you might get lucky. So next up, the Diablo 3 community site has been blessed with yet more content. This time around, Blizzard have added the items database to the game guide on the official website. Before talking about this anymore though, I will tell you that Blizzard told us to keep in mind that all the current data shown in the game section is temporary, in both stats and art. And while they appreciate our discussions and feedback, none of it is final and should not be treated as such. I suppose it's just for the players out there that are eager for the game to have a little bit of fun with. And why not? So the items section of the game guide is broken up into categories. This will allow you to quickly browse for upgrades by armor slot or weapon type, as well as for consumables, crafting materials, crafting recipes, enchantments, and everything else coming in Diablo 3. It's really easy to browse the items section and there's a lot of gear to look at. So if you want to use this along with a character build that you mapped out last week to plan the perfect character, then you can do that before the game comes out. You can find out which legendaries would look best on your character and which you're going to be keeping an eye out for on the auction house. You can check what gear you want to give to your followers. You can see what gems you want to put in that gear. Everything. It's all there and it's definitely worth having a look at. You can, as I mentioned, find it over at the official Diablo 3 community site in the game guide section. Enjoy. So next up, as Diablo fans continue to dig their way through all the content that's actually already in the Diablo 3 beta client, more and more of what I suppose could be called spoilers are appearing. This time around, some high-level armor sets were uncovered, and I will say right now that some of these are looking pretty crazy. And I've yet to decide if that's a good or bad thing. I will say this though, that a lot of these sets have definitely taken inspiration from World of Warcraft in some form or another. There's a Barbarian set that looks a bit like a Warlock's Felguard, and there's a Demon Hunter set that looks a lot like a Death Knight set from World of Warcraft. As I said, I'm still undecided about these. Some of them look really cool, and some of them not quite as cool. Have a look at them all below in full size and be sure to let me know what you think. So now let's have a talk about Diablo 3 on consoles. This time, however, the talk is a little bit different. The guys at Blizzard have said that they really like the feel and they actually think that the game feels better on a console controller. I watched a video on YouTube recently about a guy using a console controller to play the Diablo 3 beta. Sure, it wasn't the official Diablo 3 beta, but still. It seemed to me like it really fit the game incredibly well. The analog sticks seemed to be controlling incredibly well, and this was not by any means official. It was just a fan messing around with his Diablo 3 client and console controller. So if you are in fact interested, check the links below to see how much Blizzard liked the idea of using console controllers with Diablo 3, and you can check that video out right here on YouTube. Now I'm going to be keeping this episode a little bit lighter because I feel that the news is slightly secondary right now. Sure, there's some interesting stuff going on, but I do feel that getting gameplay and other goodies up is probably a lot more important right now. That said, I will still include a lot of links below, so if you want to do some browsing, if you want to just casually look through everything that I've collected, check the smalls out in just a second, have a look if there's anything interesting, and then look in the description below the video to find it. I will also say that the guys over at Diablo Inc. Gamers, Diablo fans, and Force Strategy Gaming right here on YouTube are putting up a ton of good stuff. I think Force has done playthroughs with all the characters already, and he's starting his second playthroughs now. He's got a bunch of strat videos up, and he's even got a competition up where he challenges his fans to beat his 146 kill streak in the beta. That's pretty crazy, but still, well worth having a look at. Now, let's have a look at the Diablo 3 Smalls. First up, read a post over on the official site titled "Friends that slay together, stay together." Then check out a bit more info on the Demon Hunter skill or resource changes that are coming up. Have a look at a new website called Diablo 3 Markets, and you can pretty much guess what that's all about. Have a look at some Diablo 3 beta graphics guides. There are a couple of hints in the Diablo 3 beta right now at Belial, the Lord of Lies, making an appearance. Korea may well ban Diablo 3 over the real money trading auction house. You can have a look at some slightly more dodgy news. How far the Diablo 3 beta emulators are right now. Then it seems like the Book of Cain has made its return to Amazon. The guys over at Diablo Fans have a nice post up titled "Make the most of your beta." Then consider this link just another reminder that Force Strategy Gaming is putting out a ton of Diablo 3 content right now, so be sure to check his channel out. Then the latest Diablo cast episode titled "Premature Release Dates," and the latest Diablo podcast focused on skills and skill runes. There are 3 Diablo 3 class profiles to have a look at for the Demon Hunter, Barbarian, and Wizard. You can have a look at them right here on YouTube, and they're courtesy of the guys over at Diablo Inc. Gamers. So sadly, that's all I have for you in the Diablo news this week. Check back here soon for more. Remember to like the video, share it with your friends, and do all that other good stuff. Most importantly though, happy public Diablo 3 beta invites.